Hello, everybody. Mark Furlow here. I just wanted to cover a few things from our workshop the other day, but I've also had some requests about going through Google Classroom step by step about how to create a classes and find your classes. So I thought I'd go ahead and start that with you now. I'll try not to go too quick, but hopefully, since it's in a video, you can scroll back and forth to see and do what you want to see. So our first step is to get into ClassLink. I'm already there and I'm at the ClassLink homepage. These are my icons and I'm going to go to Google Drive. I've just found this to be the easiest because once I get into Drive, I'm over here. Yes, let this happen. Don't hit the X. I'm over here and I can hit my waffle and then I have access to all of those apps right there. It's really almost too many to put into ClassLink, so I don't really deal with that. I just go from here and I hit Classroom and I open up. What I'll see and what you'll see is the classrooms that you're already maybe a teacher of or have been created for you from the rosters. These are ones that I'm either a member of or I'm a teacher in. So we're going to start from scratch and we're going to create a new class for all of you in elementary in the coming 2019-2020 school year. You will need to do this to create your classes because they won't be rostered for you. Those of you in secondary, yours will be rostered for you. However, you may want to create individual classes or perhaps meld your classes together if they're split up according to, AP or pre-AP or grade levels, and you happen to teach something like music and you've got multiple grade levels in one classroom, then you would have maybe 3 Google Classrooms just for that one class period, and that could get rather confusing. So you might want to create your own. So we'll do that from here. I'm in the classroom and I'm going to hit the plus sign and you can see it says create or join a class. I'm going to create. Hit join and then hit create. If you're not getting this join, if you're not getting create and all you get is join, really what that's going to mean for you is you're logged into your personal Google account somewhere, somehow, and you need to get out of all of those personal accounts and make sure you're in your HEB G Suite account. So here we go. We're going to create, and I'm going to hit this, and it's going to require a class name. I'm just going to call this one test class. You can give it any name you want to, obviously. Section, subject, and room. You don't have to do these other sections on here, but you can. It's completely up to you. I'm going to skip that. So it's taking its time to create. And there we are. You'll see it's already given me a heading up there at the top. Looks like this would maybe be an auto tech class. So I'm going to do something a little different here. I'm going to change this. I don't really want that to be the theme for my classroom because let's say I teach, I don't know, English, math and science, arts, sports, or something else. So you can pick from this plethora of lists that they have already created for you. So we'll just maybe go back over here. I'm going to go math and science. And, I don't know. How about that one? So I'm going to select that, and that's going to change my theme. Conversely, if you have an actual photograph of something that you wanted to put up here, you could. You can also put animated headers up here in little GIF images. If you find a GIF image that you want to use, and you can put up here, they're really cool looking. They grab the kids' attention sometimes. So you can just go here and select a photo from your computer. Go to your photos. Let's try this one. It's going to upload. Gives me a box to select. And I can't do the whole thing. And sometimes you don't want to because they tend to get blurry once they get out of scale. Let's see how much of this I can actually fit into my header when it's all said and done. Can't really fit it all, but I'll get some animation in there anyway. Let's select and let's see how that looks. Okay, so it's not great because you can see the image is probably a little too big for this header, but still kind of fun. Anyway, so we've got this. We've got our class all set up. Now we're going to go over here to our settings gear, or you could call it a settings cog. Most people call it a gear. Regardless if you hit this gear or cog, you can get your information down here. So now you could add your class description, your section, your room, or even the subject. So let's call this Google Basics is the class description. That may be an easier identifier for you when you're looking at all your classes and for your students as they have to look at 6, 7, or 8 classes themselves. This here is your class code. So if you have your students that are going to join your class, maybe they were absent or they're brand new students, or you just created a class from scratch, they will need a join code. You can display it just like this so they can see it. There's another place to do this as well. You can make it full screen. Now they can see it from the back of the room. You don't have to repeat it 7 times. And if you're just not happy with that number configuration, while you can't create number and letter configurations for your class, you can get new ones. So just reset it and it'll give you another one. Sometimes they may be a little suggestive just because they're random sequences. So you may want to keep an eye out for that, for whatever combination they put up there. Who knows what the kids will read into that if you've got an unusual combination of numbers and letters. You can reset the ones that are rostered for you too. So just remember that when you get in your gears. A couple of different things here on your stream. If you want students to post or comment, or you don't want students to post or comment, this is where you change that setting. Currently, I've had it set to where students can post and comment, but I'm going to change this to only teachers can post or comment. I don't want students commenting in this classroom, because if they make a comment, they can comment on what somebody else has said, and a lot of times they can really get in there and they treat it like maybe a YouTube or a social media account, and then they could get derisive if you're not careful. Condensed notifications, classwork on the stream. I don't like condensed notifications because I like to see the attachment and details. So condensed notifications just announce what the assignment is or what you've posted, and they don't see the attachment unless they click on it. So I'm going to want to see everything. Show deleted items. Only teachers can view deleted items. Or Guardian summaries. We'll get into that later. We're going to just go ahead and skip that for now. Generally, I don't do either one of these. I'm going to save my changes, and I'm back. So now I'm here. The next thing that you're going to look at is across this top row. This is your stream. This is what's going to be constantly flowing to the students when they open Classroom. You'll have your newest posts will be at the top. The oldest ones will be down here at the bottom. So if you're not happy with that sequence or you don't like it, you have to reorder them every single time. You cannot change. So old posts are at the top and new posts are at the bottom. It doesn't work that way, I'm afraid. I tried and I couldn't get it. It doesn't work. The next piece here is classwork. This would be the assignments or any classwork that was given to them from your classroom. If they were to click here on Google Calendar, their Google Calendar will pop up and it'll show due dates for assignments. And you can see those right here. Okay, I'm the teacher, so these were assignments that I posted, so I can see those. The student will see over here as well when their assignments are due. If there's no time on these dates, they'll just be up here at the top, indicating that they're due that day. Exit out of that. People, let's go here. We have people. These are the teachers. These are the students. So if I want to add another teacher to this class, I can just type in his or her name. Oops, I think I spelled Jeff's name wrong. There it is. I could type in this name and invite this teacher. He would also be now a teacher in this class, and he would look at his classroom list and he would see all of those classes as part of it. So he can go in and make modifications and add or subtract from that class list. However, he may not ever do anything with it, but he could reuse those posts that I create because maybe I'm the math teacher and he's the math teacher, but I'm more comfortable in classroom. He can post now from the things that I've created, and it makes it maybe a lot easier on him as my team teacher. Students, here you can physically add students. So if you want to find a student's name and you type in your student, you can see there's an actual student account. I can physically add that student from here, and it sends them an email invitation to join. You wouldn't do this with a class of 25 or 26. It's just too cumbersome and it will take you too long. You would probably go back to displaying the class code, and then your students would see the class code and they would just join that way. But if you had a kid that was absent on the day everybody joined your class, this is a great way just to invite them right there on the spot while you're in the classroom. And conversely, if you forget, it's real simple just to invite them later. Not a problem. So we go back here to our class work. This is where you create your assignments and questions, topics to organize your modules or units, and order the way you want students to see it. You can order them, but like I said, you can't order that the new posts go to the bottom and the old ones stay on the top. You have to resequence them every single time if you want to do something like that. So here we have different types of things we can create. I have an assignment. This would be something that would require them to turn in something. They have to click on turn in to turn it in, and they have to click on done to indicate that they are done. A quiz assignment, this is going to be a Google form that you will create, and it's an actual quiz, and Google will grade it for you, providing you put in the information for the answer key. Question. This is really just a simple question that you post to students. You might think of this as a bell ringer question, just something to get people thinking. You can create it to where their posts are public, or that those answers to those questions come directly back to you. Material. Think of this as maybe a slideshow that you want them to look at and you want them to have access to at a later date. A PDF document that all they're going to do is open and read it, or even videos that you want them to see. This is a really, really great way to post a lot of resources for a particular unit or for a particular subject. And when a student loses them, you don't have to worry because they're already here in digital format. They can just open this up again. Reuse post. This is the one I mentioned earlier. I click on this and I have all my list of classes here that I've created. And if I find a different post that I've done in another class and I want to use it in this class, let's say I teach 3 sections of math or 3 sections of reading, but I have the same thing that I want to post, I go back to this particular class. Maybe this is my first or second period, and now I have different things that I want to post again. Oh, there it is. There's that quiz. So I click on it again, and now I'm just reusing this post. This is super handy and super helpful because now this actual assignment, yes, it's independent to this class. It doesn't meld with the other one, but it is exactly the same thing. So now I have this assignment that I don't have to go back into my drive to find. I don't have to search for it, except I know it was in such and such class, and it's super easy to pull up, as you saw right there. Here, you could type instructions to them. You don't have to. Give it a due date. I'm going to go ahead and make this due, let's say tomorrow, even though it's Saturday. And I'm optional. The time is optional, but I'm not going to do a time, just sometime by the end of the day. Here you can see this is where topics come into play. So let's say I'm going to use this singular classroom all year long, which you can do. But in order to sort it, I might want to sort it by units, or I might even want to sort it by 6 weeks or semesters or 9-week periods. And that's what I would create it under. Okay. So I would keep it unique to what I want it to be and what I want it to see. If you're deleting these classrooms every semester or every 9-week period, then of course you don't need to do that. But if you want to keep it all year, this is a really simple and easy way to organize things. So give it a topic. Why don't I just call it, I'm just going to call it Unit 1. And now it's got a topic. It's worth 100 points. And there's the due date. Grade importing. Can import grades for assignments, automatically limits each form to 1 response, and collects email addresses and restricts responses to users in your domain. Basically, what that means is you'll have an email attached to every response you get, and no one outside of hebisd.edu could even get to it. Kids can show it to their parents. They'll get the grades back and what have you, but no one else will be able to see it. I could add another attachment to this if I wanted to. Let's say I had a resource in my drive and it was a PDF document in here, and I wanted to find it. I wanted to attach it, perhaps as something for them to see. There's a PDF document, or it was a slideshow to assist them with answering the questions on the quiz. I can attach those to the same thing. An image, anything that you're picking, you can get here, and the kids can also access it at the same time while they're doing the quiz. So now they can view this particular file, but here this one is a quiz. I wanted to touch on this too real quickly. You have your sharing options here. So I have this slideshow. Obviously, it's just a random slideshow. But here I have it so the students can view it. All they can do is look at this slideshow. They can't edit it. They don't have a copy in their drive, nothing. If I choose this one, students can edit. Now the students can edit this file. And every student I pass this out to, they can actually get in there and edit it. That's not always a good thing, because you don't want 27 kids editing this particular file. They can add and delete things and all sorts of crazy things. It's a good thing if you have a template that you create and you want the kid to work on it, have them edit the file. But in that case, you might want to go to this one. Make a copy for each student. Now the student gets a copy, and he's going to get a copy automatically pushed to his Google Drive, and then he will be able to edit the one that you pass out to them and then submit that back for their work. The templates can be really, really handy here. You can organize them exactly how you want. You want 5 slides. You want slide 1 to show this, slide 2 to show that, and so on and so on. You put that in your slide as your template. You save it, and then that's the one you attach right here. Make a copy for each student. They've got their instructions and a little reminder on the top of the slide of what those slides are supposed to be. This one's not particularly graded, so I'm not going to worry about that, but I go back to this one. You can see here's the quiz, so I can make sure that that's the right one. This is exactly what the students are going to see. I created this earlier, obviously. And down here, this is their slideshow. I click on it to see, is this the right one that I wanted to use? Yes, it is. And I can toggle through here to make sure it's right. If I'm going through this right now and I was like, oh, I don't want them to do this particular slide right here, click on it on your left side, just hit delete, and due to Google's amazing auto updating, it's saving. The changes are done. It's all saved. Exit out. I made my change that I want. Now the one that they're going to open is the one that you just changed with removing a slide, and you don't have to change this here at all. It's the same thing. It's pretty amazing. So I've got my choices here: assign, schedule, or save a draft. If I click assign, this is going to be pushed to the students right now. If I click save draft, it'll just save it, and I'll choose when I want it to go out. If I choose schedule, I get this handy little calendar that pops up. So this will be pushed to the students exactly when I choose a date and time. So let's say I want this to go out on Monday. And, oh, it must be scheduled before the due date. I better change that because my due date on this one, and they both go together. So it's got to match. So why don't I change this to the 10th also? Click off of that. That's there. Now I'm going to schedule this assignment. I'm going to go ahead and schedule it for the 10th. And now I can pick the time that this post goes to the students. So let's say you have this is going to be your 3rd period class. And let's say that starts at, let's pretend it's 10 o'clock. This way, this won't be pushed to the students early. They can't work on it earlier than you want them to. They can't work on it, say, in another class when they see that something's been pushed to them. Because if they have their phones and they have alerts enabled on their phone with their Google Classroom app, they'll get an alert that says so-and-so's posted an assignment. And they can go ahead and be working on it ahead of time. You probably don't want that, okay? So schedule it for maybe 5 minutes after they come into your classroom. And there you are. There's your unit, and it's scheduled. It's ready to roll. And you can see this is my topic, and all my topics are here. If I wanted to create another topic, I'm just going to go down here and create another topic. And I'm going to call this Unit 2. And later, I have nothing here. Later, when I create a new assignment or a quiz assignment or a question, I can choose whether that's going to go in Unit 1 or Unit 2. And that's going to be a great way for you to organize your assignments and for the kids to visually see the differences between what's in Unit 1 and Unit 2. Let's see, a few other things. I want to look at navigating multiple classrooms. Okay, so let's go back to our stream because this is your test class. This is one class that you've got. But you want to look at somebody else that's in your class. If you'll go over here, click on your classes. It's real simple. Right click. Again, I went over to what's called the pancake. Left click, pull down to all your classes. If I hit this, it's going to pull up that screen of all of my classes at once. I don't want that. I know what class I want to look at. Go over here to this class. Say this is the one I want to see, TechFest 2019. Right click. And then you get your menu to pop up. Open link in new tab. And you can see it's working right here. Click on TechFest. Now I can see this class. Classwork. I can see all the classwork and the sorts. I can see the people that are in it. And everything's ready to roll in there. That's how you navigate between 2 classes at once. And you can do this from any classroom. Left click, open another class in a new tab. You could theoretically have multiple classes open at one time. And if you look up here, yes, that's a little GIF that I pulled to make for an animated header on this one. So Lots of things you can do and lots of ways to pass out work and get work to students. The last thing I did want to show you before I let you go here is pulling classes from your archives. On July 22nd, 2019, all of your classes that are currently in Google Classroom will be archived. But archived doesn't mean deleted, so you can get those back. So if you'll go over here to your Pancake again, your classroom main menu, you saw as I hovered over there. Let me do that again so you can see that. I hit that, and I pull down and keep going. Archive classes. Hit this button, and you can see how these are all like diagonal lines, and they've basically been, I don't know what you call it, grayed out. If I want to unarchive a class, I go over to my three dots, click on it, move, copy, or restore. I'm just going to click restore. Now your students will be able to interact with blah, 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 blah. Oh, I don't want my students to interact, so why don't I just pick one that I don't have any students in. Restore and restore. And now when I go back to my class main menu, I actually don't have to do that because I could pull it from here. I go back to my classes main menu. I can see my classes back. So you can't really lose these classes. If you archive them, you can go back in there and delete them. So they won't be on your archive. They won't be on anything. Once you do this, though, they will never come back again. You'll no longer have access to any posts, comments. Class files will remain in Google Drive. So you can get your class files, but nothing will be tied to a class or a student. The class files are the ones that you've posted to that classroom. Delete, and it's gone forever. So make sure you really want to do that before you get into that. I'm going to go back to our classes, my test classes here, and we're working from here again. So that's pretty much all we have for navigating and creating your classroom. We didn't cover a whole lot of the different kinds of posts, but that's going to be a different video. I hope that's helpful for you, and we'll see you on the next post. Thanks.